Hi, my name is Heartleigh Godoy, and you're listening to Wake Up with Wonder podcast, where my daddy shares with you the gift of wonder.
Hey there, a quick shout out to all my friends, all of my soul family, and all of my fellow wanderers out there. If you are a new listener to the podcast, I'd like to welcome you and say thank you. If you are a returning listener, I appreciate your continued support. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jason B. Godoy, and you are listening to the Wake Up with Wonder podcast. I am your host, and it is my mission to wake up the childlike curiosity of adults and to inspire wonder in all things so that you personally can live a wildly curious and a passionate life where you are deeply connected to your heart and to the heartbeat of the universe. And I live out my mission by being ruthlessly committed to living in integrity with myself and to sharing my experiences, the lessons I've learned, along with any tools that I've acquired along my journey. My intention for this podcast is to create a safe container where we both can embody the things that make us all human. We have emotions, our mindsets, our heart sets, our soul sets, and that larger, greater sense of purpose, the power of commitment, of being ruthlessly committed, the power of possibility, or just simply even asking a different set of questions and flipping our perspective. Speaking of questions, I am truly committed to providing the absolute best content possible when I use this platform, and I'm open to answering any questions that you listeners may have. I'm open to exploring suggestions and hearing new possibilities in regards to this podcast. You can send me any questions or suggestions that you might have to my email, jasonbgodoy@outlook.com. You can click the link at wakeupwithwonder.com, or you can leave it as a review on Apple Podcast or in a voice message using the Anchor platform. So, speaking of Anchor, I would like to thank them for sponsoring today's show. Their mobile app is super easy to use along with their desktop version. On that one single platform, I'm able to record, edit, publish, and distribute all of my shows. You know, the main reason I do this podcast is because I'm truly passionate about all the aspects of wonder, and I don't intend on making any profits from it. More importantly, I view this podcast as a platform to serve the world and to give back to foundations that support early childhood education and the study of Alzheimer's. Not only does Anchor allow me to share my message with the world, but Anchor also allows me to raise funds and be able to give back to these charitable organizations. Ultimately, by increasing the number of viewers, we can increase the amount that we are able to give back. If you'd like to help, you can text the link for today's episode to a friend, or even share it as a DM or a post on social media. If you've ever considered starting your own podcast, now you can, and it's super simple. All you have to do is download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And if you're serious about starting a podcast, I would truly love to hear from you and help you explore some of your ideas and see if there's any way I can help. You can find my contact info at www.wakeupwithwonder.com. All right, everyone. So I'm sitting here with a friend. His name is Mr. Bruce Karey. He happens to be a musician. I believe it's a guitarist. And he's also an attorney?
Sometimes.
By night?
Yeah. Guitar player at law.
Guitar player at law. I like that term. So, Bruce, I believe because you're a guitar player at law, you probably have a unique sense of wonder. So today I'd like to ask you some questions about how you experience wonder. Is that all right?
Absolutely. Just a couple things. The guitar player at law comment. I had a friend of mine a long time ago. She's married to a friend of mine, and he died, widow. And she got into making clothing for people, and she started making shirts for me, and she made this thing up to the guitar player at law. So that ended up expanding because I know some other lawyers who are guitar players and do that professionally, and we kind of got a little club. There's about 4 or 5 of us here in Southern California, and we'll use that term, guitar player at law, because we've all figured it. We've all wondered. One of the things we wonder about, but that's not exactly what I think we were talking about. We've all, me and my friends who are guitar players have wondered, why do they call us attorneys at law? I mean, isn't that what attorneys do? But
yeah.
Anyways, so we all started coming up with guitar player at law.
Got it.
Well, I introduced it to
Yeah. So do you guys ever perform together, or it's all one by one?
No, we performed together.
Perform together?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you guys could do like a benefit or something, like a guitar player at law's benefit night or something.
I've tried to talk them into it, but they're like me. They're working lawyers. All of them happen to be criminal defense attorneys. Except for one of the guys is a deputy DA. So we're all kind of like sort of busy with the day job thing. Everybody I know who I meet and have met in my lifetime who's a musician, unless they're a full-time working musician at a very high level, everybody else always says one thing to me when I talk to them afterwards. Hey, man, that was really a good set. Hey, thanks for the music. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a school teacher by day, but I'd much rather be playing music. I'm a plumber. I'm a painter, but I'd much rather be playing music. Because everybody says
everyone
that.
loves music because music makes them wonder.
Yeah.
So with that, Bruce, I wanted to ask you today, why is wonder important to you?
Because that's what makes people alive. That's what kind of makes us know that we're still alive. When you stop wondering about wanting to know things, even worrying about, am I connecting with somebody else? What does somebody think of me? Am I doing the right thing? What else can I know about life, about everything? I mean, when you start thinking that way, there's nothing else, whatever.
So you're saying there's always something else to know.
Absolutely.
Have you ever heard of the 95% rule?
No, what's that?
I was just talking about this in one of my last episodes. So basically, imagine you have a big giant pie, 100% pie.
Yeah.
All right. I tell you can have one slice of pie. Out of this 100% pie, you get a 5% slice. Okay? Now check it out. Of that 5% slice, that 5% represents all the things in the world that you know for certain. Now, the 95% are all the things in the world that you will never, ever come to know in your lifetime. So of that 5%, just to be simple, let's say there's 1% that you actually know that you know for sure. Like, I know this. I could explain how this beer was made, or I could explain how to play the guitar. You know that for certain.
There's a term for that.
What's that?
Crystallized knowledge.
Crystallized knowledge. Got it. So 1% is crystallized knowledge. And the 4% is going to be knowledge to be gained. It's going to be stuff that we have to learn. So basically what that says is 95% we're never going to figure out, and then 4% we just have to limit our piece of the pie, and we have to eat every single day and get hungrier and eat and learn and learn.
You're such a skeptic. But you're probably right. Undoubtedly.
Yeah. So so you're saying that wonder is important. What does it make you think of? Like, you're always wanting to know, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of wonder?
The first thing that I think about, something I think about a lot, is, what other people are thinking, how they're thinking, what they think of me, of course, what's kind of, how their minds are working. What do they know that I don't know?
Interesting.
And especially, how do I say this? we all interact and we all come into contact with people, and some of us, I think, that want to deny. Many people, I think, are in denial. They don't want to admit it, but I'm always thinking about, what is that person thinking about me? Am I connecting to them? Am I making sense to them? Are they hearing, feeling, understanding what I'm saying?
I think you finally said the key word. And all of that, you finally hit connection. So you were saying that when you wonder about people and you want to know more about what they're thinking and what they already know, that's definitely just connecting with them. So when was the last time that you were just totally left in a state of wonder?
It was earlier today. On a minor level, I was in court. That's one thing. I was in court, in a local court, and I was talking to a judge about something that had happened on our case, and why my client didn't do certain things that the judge had ordered. And I'm wondering, is he? He's not going to like this. This isn't going to go over well. And so this man kind of took it to another level. He really impressed me because he started talking about, well, you know what? I relate to that. We're in an open courtroom. And he started to have a conversation with me. I understand what your client was going through. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. We're not going to do this today. We're going to wait 2 or 3 months. I totally get it. You know, when people are going through that, and you start looking around and talking to the other people in the courtroom. This is over in Orange County, in Fullerton. And he started talking. I was amazed because, well, where did that all come from? But I'm listening. This particular judge has a really good reputation among the lawyers as being a guy who's a thinking guy, very fair, very caring.
So you're just amazed by his sharpness and his ability to respond and direct and just organize and handle it all at one time.
So that's one thing about the practice of law.
Can I jump in? You know what that makes me think of? So the wonders, people always wonder about the world, but it kind of makes me wonder about like ourselves and like what we're capable of. You know, like what that judge did. Obviously, he's educated and he's gone to law school and he's had years of experience. But I'm sure if anybody else put in the time or the work, you know, they're capable of the same exact thing.
I don't know if I agree with that.
No? Why not?
Because we all have a completely different makeup. How do you explain different opinions then? We can all go through the same experience and we're going to see things a little differently. Okay, what do I wonder about? Why does that happen?
Why do we experience stuff differently?
Yeah, the same thing. Well, why? It's not that we experience. Yeah, why do we experience it differently?
Well, that kind of brings me to my next question. So, wonder, do you experience it? Is it an individual or a collective feeling or experience for you when it happens? Or, it could be both, but how does it come across to you?
It depends on the situation. I mean, it can be a really positive thing. It can be feeling really good about it, or it can be like, oh no.
But is that something that's personal to you, or do you think other people experience it and feel it in the same way that you do?
You need to understand. Let me make this real. As a lawyer, I can relate to this. I kind of explain this in several different ways. As a lawyer, it's sort of very similar to being a musician. As a lawyer, I'll run into hostility from people all the time. I'll run into people who are praising me. I'll encounter someone. It could be my own client, a family member, a witness. It could be an opposing lawyer, someone in a courtroom. And people are going to be openly hostile. I mean, they'll be attacking you and just telling you this is what you were saying and everything. This is what you mean. Even though you explain to them, I don't need assistance in explaining my own thoughts. Then you'll have people praising you, just thanking you at the same time. It's kind of, when I was a working musician, it was very similar to that. Sometimes what you presented and performed, people didn't go over well at all. Mm-hmm. Other times, when it was all working and it went over well, you could look at people and they were looking at you like, like you're on stage and you're thinking like, hey, don't look at me that way. I'm not some god or something. I'm not some mythical image of what you want. I'm a real live human being.
So besides playing music, besides being in the courthouse and seeing all the transactions and stuff occur, how do you create wonder? How do you experience wonder, witness wonder on a daily basis? When those times when we don't have any wonder.
Every person I come in contact with. If it's in an elevator, if I'm waiting in line at my pharmacy to get a prescription refill, if I'm in a parking lot, I talk to people. And I look them directly in the eye and I just start talking to them about something as though I know them. You'd be amazed at the responses you get. I don't know if that's what you're looking for, but
I don't, but I know the feeling that you're talking about. It's almost like a fearlessness. Like if you're not afraid to ask the questions, then you'll get some answers.
I'm going to talk to everybody. And I always used to wonder myself when I was a lot younger. I would look at older people and say, man, why do they always just talk to people? Like, they just open up and they just start talking to people. Yet I find myself doing that.
I wonder the same thing. So clue me in. Give me some insight here, Bruce.
Well, because at my age, you realize that everyone's the same. You can connect anybody like almost instantly and pull out of them how they're thinking. Now, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it doesn't work out well. Because I was sitting in downtown LA a couple of months ago, and I was at the Music Center, and there was a Democratic national debate on TV, and this was in the Los Angeles County Music Center. They got a little bar and a little restaurant right there, and I had to park my car over there that day because all the other parking was taken, so I had to walk over there like 4 or 5 blocks from the courthouse. So I thought, I'll have a glass of wine and some cheese and crackers, and I'm watching it, and there's just 2 people sitting next to me. And they started voicing some political opinions that I just didn't agree with at all. But it's my fault because I started talking to them. I couldn't understand at all how they had these beliefs that they had. I'm not going to go into what their opinions are. I'm sort of a liberal, so, and they were, what amazed me about them and really puzzled me is they were talking about, they were voicing all kinds of opinions and views that you would normally associate with liberals, progressives, Democrats, and they're watching the debate on the stage. We were in this courtyard between some of the Music Center venues, and it was quite a large open air kind of a square, like a plaza, and about 150 feet away, a good 50 to 60 yards, there was a big screen TV, and the whole plaza could see this. And they got to one issue, and the 2 people, they were husband and wife. Mm-hmm. She was an immigrant from Mexico. They told me all about their life story. That he was because
you were wondering in
Minnesota. Well, I got them to open up, and they just started spilling the stuff out on their own. And they both took a position on one of the issues that was the candidates were debating, right. And it shocked me what their position was. I'm just thinking, even the bartender, who was from Chicago area, and she's very liberal, very progressive. She was like shocked. She said she couldn't believe looking at the 2 of them and listening to everything that's said. But hey, you encounter new things all the time.
Right.
It all started because I started talking to them. I made some comment about, I think, the wine that we were drinking.
That's all it was.
Yep.
All right, so this is kind of a fun one. Let's see if you can answer this question, this phrase, if you can finish it. So basically, curiosity, similar to wonder, a part of wonder. Have you ever heard the phrase, and can you finish this phrase? Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah, curiosity killed the cat.
But
because the cat didn't wonder enough and didn't want to know anymore.
that's definitely not the answer. No, seriously, my mom used to always tell me stop asking questions. And then she always told me the phrase, curiosity killed the cat. Stop asking questions, stop asking questions. And this is part of why I'm so big on wonder, because my son, he just loves to ask questions, and I don't ever want to kill his sense of wonder. But now as an adult, I looked into that phrase, curiosity killed the cat, and it's actually, but satisfaction brought it back. So like, the cat got so curious and he asked questions and probably found out some stuff he didn't want to know. But then eventually, I'm assuming he got comfortable and he got satisfied and he got happy.
That phrase comes from curiosity killed the cat. And you have to get a mental picture of a cat kind of jumping up on counters or exploring things and swatting things, trying to look at things.
Yeah.
And it did something where something sprung at it and it got killed. It killed it.
The cats have 9 lives, so satisfaction brought it back. So satisfaction, maybe he jumped up and he got curious and he knocked down a box of sugar or something and he fell and died. He got killed, but the
cats do not have
brought it back.
Their taste buds. They don't taste sweetness.
No, I did not know that. You learn something new every day.
Okay, just so you know.
All right, so moving on. We're not here to talk about cats. This question might take a minute for you to answer.
Cool cat.
So take your time. Well, we're cool cats.
Yeah.
So when was the time that you lost your sense of wonder? Maybe a time you never remembered or you didn't realize you had lost it. Really?
No. I've never lost it. I've always been optimistic. Almost every waking moment, even when things are going wrong, even when
There's a difference between positivity and optimism and wonder. There's totally a difference. Have you ever heard like positivity is bullshit, like positive thinking is bullshit? There's totally a difference. Wondering is being curious, but positive thinking is more so just thinking things are going to go right, things are going to work out, and they usually do, but some people can't just be positive.
Well, yeah, that's okay. Look, that's me. Obviously, you can look at me and I'm a lot older than you.
Okay, I'm just
okay, but in my mind, we're the same age.
Of course.
And I'm still living. I'm still interested. I want to do things. I want to know how people are thinking. I want to meet more people. I'm sorry. It may irritate people, and some people may not believe it, and they may have all kinds of explanations for it. But I've never lost that wonderment of life. This thank God we're here and I'm enjoying this. I mean,
is it also possibly because when you don't have that sense of wonderment for, I guess, the grand scheme of things, for like the overall purpose of life, maybe you're just still so into connecting and being curious about people that keeps your sense of wonder alive, like from the small moments to the big moments.
Well, you said it better than me.
Okay, cool.
So I'm going to say what he said, pointing at you.
Well, but this one's going to be about what you said.
But I want to say something. The way I've led my life, I've never been into acquiring material things, money. Let's live now. Let's keep going. I'm still doing that. I've never lost that. I probably would have more material things, houses everywhere around the world, businesses. I think I'm smart enough to mentally and intellectually digest everything you need to have as far as intelligently understanding all of that business success and everything. I've just sort of never been into it. I've been into enjoying the people I know, living life, sports, music, romance, my grandsons, my sons, my friends, supporting them, just trying cases, seeing if I can win a trial, succeed, looking at doing that to see if I can help somebody. I even have played music. My goal when I play music is that somebody says, "Man, that was great music. I really enjoyed that."
So just all those things. So
Yeah.
uplifting people, being in the moment, being mindful, just loving, helping people. So with all these things that you said, you really love to do and you're passionate about, like you said, life. You're just passionate about life and just gun ho.
Yeah, I want to answer. I haven't always. I tried to be really positive and be there for everyone. And it's, it's kind of fallen short a few times.
We all do.
Okay.
Even myself.
Maybe. Yeah, it hasn't always worked out the way I wanted it to work out.
So, with all that being said, what would you say is your personal definition of the word wonder?
Mine, very clearly. I mean, you've got to be curious and just be desirous of living, experiencing as much as you can, connecting to the people around you who are important, understanding what makes them tick, what they're worried about, what excites them, what turns them on, what they're trying to achieve, find out the things about them that makes life difficult for them. It could be an illness, physical impairment, it could be a lack of understanding of something, but just...
So in one sentence, if you had to just sum it up, keep going, live life, be passionate.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I have a lot more to say about that. I had a parent who had a terminal illness.
Okay.
And she passed away, my mom, she passed away in 91. So that's basically 29 or 30 years ago, right?
28. I was born in 91.
Okay. And she passed away December 15th, 1991. I don't remember, it's hard for me to remember the dates my parents passed away. I do a lot of mental blocking in that regard. I was very close to my parents. But my mom ended up with a terminal illness, and she was ill for about 4 years. When the doctors first discovered her illness, they gave her 6 months to live, but she confounded everybody and stretched it on to 4 years.
It's a long time.
So, yeah, but I had a lot of opportunities to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage anybody, if you have someone close to you, a friend, a loved one, a parent, your children, if you know that they're going to go, Jason, spend time with them. Now, some people look at that and say, that's not a blessing, that's a curse. We know that they're going to die. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you can look at it the other way. How many times do people lose people in tragic accidents or have heart attacks, and you haven't had time to really spend with them? Well, we knew she was going to go. And we would just talk every day, for 3.5 years. I was over there to see her every day, except for 3 days during that time period. And so she tells me, hey, Bruce, she's 77, not able to get out of bed. She goes, before I open my eyes every day, I feel like I'm 19, 24 years old, 25. Then I open my eyes and I move my body. I look in the mirror, my body reminds me that I'm not 24 years old. But when I watch television, I watch a movie, and she loved the Lakers. When I watch them, I get excited looking at handsome young men. I forget I'm not 25 years old anymore. But I feel like it until I move my body. Then it hurts. Then something's not right. Now, I didn't understand what she meant at the time. and this is the truth, not just for the podcast or for the listeners. I didn't understand what she meant at the time. I understand it now.
Yeah.
And I'm not. How do I view wonder? It's just in the literal term. I wonder, how am I going to keep going? How can I get some money? I got to pay those bills and everything, practical things. But how can I experience more? I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to talk to that person. I want to keep her happy. I want to keep my grandsons happy, my sons, my friends, my clients. I want a chance to play music. I wonder, will I get to do these things? I want to play music again. I really want to play music with my grandson, because one of them is really talented in musically.
Connect. Now, I don't want to go too deep into your mom if you don't want to talk about that, because that's not why we're here. But my curiosity that arose when you were talking about it was, I feel like a lot of people in that situation where their parents are terminally ill and they only have so long to be with their parents, a lot of people in that situation might perhaps lose their sense of wonder, because they might feel depressed or sad for their parents, or they might...
No, it's just you're when someone's going through a terminal illness, they're just changing.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to die. We all know that.
Would you consider Alzheimer's a terminal illness?
Yes, and that's a special one.
So a lot of the stuff I do with this podcast is based towards early childhood development, and then I want to donate and give back to Alzheimer's development and research, because my grandmother suffers from that. And like you said, spend time with them. She doesn't have an end date, but I spend every single day with her, even if it's just 30 minutes playing. We play Scoba. It's a Spanish card game. It's like you have to add to 15.
Do you disagree with her at times?
Lots of times, but I'll
you still talk to her like she's there.
Yeah, I still sit there and play.
Good.
I do. Yeah.
You know why you need to do that? Because she's still there.
Yeah. That's
how you extend your love to her. That's how you honor her. That's how you love her. With my mom had AIDS.
Mm-hmm.
She became HIV positive and she had AIDS. And my mom was my closest confidant. I would talk to her all the time about things in life. And we would not even come close to agreeing all the time.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
But so her friends and people would come to visit her, and she was in the bed, and they would kind of pander over her. They would talk softly. They would talk nicely. And here I come. Hey, Mom, look, I was doing this and everything. What do you think about this? Well, I think this, Bruce, and I don't like. No, I disagree, Mom. And so a couple of her friends took me aside, and they, well, why are you talking to her that way? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because I'm telling her she's still valuable to me. Yeah, but you were arguing with her. Yeah, but when she was healthy, I argued with her. We would talk about things. So I decided she's still there. Now, she can't do the things she used to do. There is something negative happening to her physically, and she can't stop it. But she's still there. When I learned something about, anatomy and physiology and just how we all develop, that someone told me, and I read this also, that when you're 1 year old, by the time you're 50 or 60, there's less than 1% of the cells that existed in your body when you were 1 year old that still exist when you're 50.
Because they've all regenerated and replaced.
Correct.
Yeah.
With the exception of some of your bone. Okay, so that leads us to, well, who are we? Because it's the same person.
But it's not. It's new cells, new mass.
But there's something there that's the same. The mind, what you call it, the soul. There's something there that makes that person unique.
Well, the mitochondria, the nucleus of the cell, like that is still the same. And it just, the cells around it and the dendrites around it.
But this is something I don't think we all understand either. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, I don't think you can explain it.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to relate it to like your heart is still the same. Like, as you grow older, your heart may change for love and stuff, but your heart is still genuinely the same. It still loves.
Well,
the
what
same
is
things.
it that makes you you? Since many of the organic cells material has changed, what is it? Because you know you're you.
It's the core. You're being yourself.
Well, where is that?
It's inside of you. You have to figure it out.
You sure about that? Because you're probably right, but we can't be sure about it, but we can be sure that there's something that says we exist. Okay? And so when I was dealing with my mom, I said, you know what? She was my best friend, and I really needed this. And I'm not going to change that. We're going to talk a lot about everything. And I'm going to try and make her and let her know she's still important. That thing that makes her unique that I need.
Mm-hmm.
I need her advice. I need her ideas. I need her knowledge. Her morals, her values, whatever it is. I'm not going to agree with it. I'm not going to, I don't know how to say this. She's ill. She's not going to be the same. She can't do a lot of things she wants. That doesn't mean she's less of who she was.
She's still the same, yeah.
And I'm going to treat her that way. And I had to explain that to her friends and everything. Nope, my mom is still there. We would argue about certain things before, and we're going to talk about it now. She's alert. I believe that will keep her mind, help keep her mind sharp. One thing. I like to think it did. I don't know for sure whether it did or not.
It may very well have. I mean,
Yeah.
I do that with my grandmother already.
I think
But
you should.
I'm going to keep that as a very strong reminder, and I'm going to constantly make sure that I'm doing it, because it's really easy to lose patience, with adults who are in Alzheimer's, and it's
How
really.
old is she?
So she's 89, and on May 22nd she'll be 90. And I keep telling her every day that she doesn't even know that she's gonna be 90. She keeps forgetting. So I tell her every day she's gonna make it to her 90th birthday. So, and I hear her calling her friends, and she calls them and says, "Oh yeah,
Well, they tell
I'm gonna
me,
be 90 this year."
I ain't no expert in this. You may know more about than me, but I do believe that keeping your mind active.
Well, that's why we play cards every day. Yeah, just small stuff.
Yeah,
puzzles. Yeah. So I'm gonna end it on that note, Bruce. And before we go, I just want to say thank you. I'm gonna keep that with me as a reminder. It's a golden nugget for sure. And if you can share with the listeners or whoever is listening, is there a place where they can go to learn more about you or find more of your videos or your content or anything?
They can go online, YouTube, 4 words, Bruce Karey, guitar work. I understand that somebody in my office is creating a new website. And I'm on Google. I mean, you can't be a lawyer and not be a public figure. For good and bad, both the good stuff and the bad stuff. I've won cases, I've lost cases, I've helped people. I've decided to ask a question here or there that was a bad idea. But you got to go forward. You can't be afraid to live.
You got to keep wondering.
Yeah.
You can't stop wondering.
I like that. You got to keep wondering.
All right, Bruce. Well, thank you very much. So, Bruce Karey Guitar Work on YouTube and just Bruce Karey on Google. Take care, buddy.
Take care.
All right, everyone. That was the full episode with Mr. Bruce Karey. That's Karey with a K. Thank you for listening all the way through to the very end. Fun fact, I did talk about Bruce in one of my previous episodes, maybe like episode 6 or 8. Basically talked about how our relationship wasn't where I wanted to be. We would ignore each other a lot, basically how lawyers do. And in that episode, I shared the tools that I used, shared how I kind of called Bruce out, and how I explained to him the gap between what he was doing and what I needed. And that was ultimately what strengthened our relationship and what made us become friends. And another fun fact, at the beginning of this episode, Heartleigh's voice, the introduction, the layover, the sound behind that was actually Bruce's little 15-second solo guitar session that he did while we were recording this in his office. So if you guys enjoyed today's episode, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the show. If you can just share it with a friend, someone maybe that has family members who are in their old age, family members who are suffering from disease or illness, and someone that you know that might need to be more patient with them, or just have a reminder to treat them with love and to treat them like they are still human and like they haven't changed, because they truly are the same on the inside, as we know. So don't forget to share this with a friend, tag me. You can also leave a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. Those reviews ultimately are how people find this show and how the show grows and how the gift of wonder spreads to other people across the world. I think we got like 6% of listeners in Canada. Let's grow that number. Let's get it to more countries. All right, guys, have a wonderful Friday. Thanks for being a supporter of the show. Thanks for being a wanderer. I love you guys. Take care.